Today, we embark on a magical sleigh ride through time, tracing the evolution of a beloved holiday figure, Santa Claus, from the ancient tales whispered around fires to the modern myths shared across the digital world. So buckle up, hit that subscribe button, and join us as we uncover this fascinating transformation of St. Nicholas, a 4th century bishop, into Santa Claus, the jolly gift bringer whom we know today. Let's dive into this legend of Santa Claus. Our story begins in the 4th century, in a place known today as Turkey. In the ancient city of Myra lived a man named Nicholas. He was no ordinary man, but a bishop known for his extraordinary generosity and kindness. Nicholas was born to wealthy parents who died in an epidemic while he was still young. Inheriting his parents' wealth, he became known for his generous gifts to those in need, his love for children, and his concern for sailors and ships. One of the most famous stories of his generosity was about a poor man with 3 daughters. In those days, a woman's father needed to offer prospective husbands something of value, called a dowry. The larger the dowry, the better the chance that the young woman would find a good husband. Without a dowry, a woman was unlikely to marry. This poor man's daughters, without dowry, were therefore destined to be sold into slavery. Mysteriously, on 3 different occasions, a bag of gold appeared in their home, providing the needed dowries. The bags of gold, tossed through an open window, are said to have landed in stockings or shoes left before the fire to dry. This led to the custom of children hanging their stockings or putting out shoes, eagerly awaiting gifts from St. Nicholas. Nicholas's popularity spread, and he became the protector of children and sailors. His feast day is celebrated on the anniversary of his death, December 6th. This was traditionally considered a lucky day to make large purchases or to get married. By the Renaissance, St. Nicholas was the most popular saint in Europe. Even after the Protestant Reformation, when the veneration of saints began to discourage, St. Nicholas maintained a positive reputation, especially in Holland. As we journey into the Middle Ages, the legend of St. Nicholas take on new forms and traditions. His fame lived on, particularly in the Netherlands, where he became known as Sinterklaas. In the Dutch tradition, Sinterklaas would arrive on the eve of his feast day, December 5th, riding a white horse. Dutch children would leave their shoes out the night before, and in the morning they would discover the gifts that Sinterklaas had left for them. Sinterklaas was often depicted as a bishop in canonical robes and was portrayed as being assisted by Zwarte Piet or Black Peter. Zwarte Piet was said to be a helper who would listen at the chimneys of homes to tell Sinterklaas about the behavior of the children. The tradition of Sinterklaas spread throughout Europe. In many countries, he was seen as the bringer of gifts to children. In some cultures, he was accompanied by Knecht Rupert or farmhand Rupert, a servant who would help deliver gifts to good children and punishment to those who had been naughty. Despite the variations in traditions across different regions, the central theme remains the same. A mysterious figure known for his kindness and generosity who brought gifts to children during the holiday season. This figure began as St. Nicholas and is slowly transforming into the Santa Claus that we know today. Our journey now takes us across the Atlantic Ocean to the bustling colonies of the New World. It was here in the 17th century that the legend of St. Nicholas, known to the Dutch as Sinterklaas, found a new home. The Dutch settlers seeking a new life in America carried with them their customs, traditions, and folklore. Among these was the celebration of the Feast of Sinterklaas on December 6th, a beloved tradition where Sinterklaas would leave gifts for the children. In the heart of the New Amsterdam colony, now known as New York, the Dutch children eagerly placed their wooden shoes by the hearth on the eve of December 5th, hoping to find them filled with treats from Sinterklaas the next morning. As the colonies grew and the cultural landscape began to shift, so did the figure of Sinterklaas. The English-speaking settlers found it easier to pronounce Santa Claus as a phonetic derivative of Sinterklaas, and thus the American Santa Claus was born. The figure of Santa Claus was not just a simple translation of Sinterklaas, but rather a fusion of various cultural influences. He was shaped by the customs of the Dutch, the English, and later the Germans, the French, and many other cultures. In the early 19th century, the image of Santa Claus was further refined and popularized by writers and poets. Washington Irving, in his Knickerbocker's History of New York, describes Santa Claus as a jolly Dutchman who flew over treetops in a wagon. Clement Clarke Moore, in his famous poem A Visit from St. Nicholas, introduced Santa Claus as a jolly old elf who drove a miniature sleigh pulled by 8 tiny reindeer. And so the stern bishop from the old world, known for rewarding the good and punishing the wicked, was transformed into the melting pot of the new world into Santa Claus, a jolly old elf who visited the homes of children once a year, spreading joy and delivering gifts to all. As we journey into the 19th century, the figure of Santa Claus begins to take on a form that is more familiar to us today. This era was marked by significant development that shaped the modern image of Santa Claus. In the mid-19th century, the political cartoonist named Thomas Nast played a crucial role in defining Santa's image. Nast's depiction of Santa Claus in Harper's Weekly featured a rotund, jolly man with a full white beard wearing a red suit trimmed with white fur. Nast also introduced the idea of Santa's workshop located at the North Pole. This workshop, filled with elves, was where all the toys for children were made. Nast's illustrations also included Santa's lists of good and bad children, further solidifying the belief that Santa rewarded good behavior with gifts. The concept of Santa's sleigh and reindeer can be traced back to the famous poem A Visit from St. Nicholas, more commonly known as The Night Before Christmas, written by Clement Clarke Moore in 1823. The poem describes Santa Claus as a jolly old elf who drove the miniature sleigh pulled by 8 tiny reindeer. As the 19th century progressed, Santa Claus was further popularized through songs, stories, and plays. His image was used in advertising campaigns, most notably by Coca-Cola in the 1930s, which helped to spread this image of Santa Claus as a jolly plump man in a red suit. By the end of the 19th century, the transformation of St. Nicholas into Santa Claus was complete. The once stern bishop had become the symbol of holiday cheer and goodwill, a magical figure who brought joy to children all over the world. As we journey into the 20th century and beyond, the figure of Santa Claus becomes more than just a holiday character. He evolves into the symbol of hope, generosity, and the spirit of Christmas. In the 20th century, Santa Claus became a staple in holiday movies, songs, and advertisements. His image was used to sell everything from soda to war bonds, further cementing his place in popular culture. One of the most endearing traditions of the 20th century is the NORAD Track Santa program. Started in 1955, this program allows children to track Santa's journey around the world on Christmas Eve, adding to the magic and anticipation of Christmas morning. As cultures around the world embrace the figure of Santa Claus, they add their own unique twists. In some countries, Santa Claus has a companion, like Austria's Krampus, who deals with naughty children so Santa can focus on the good. And others, like Italy, an entirely different character, La Befana, takes on Santa's role. In the 21st century, Santa Claus continues to evolve. He has been depicted in various forms in media and literature, sometimes even taking on roles as superhero or an adventurer. Despite the modern interpretations, the core values of Santa represents love, joy, and the spirit of giving remain unchanged. From a 4th century bishop to a jolly gift giver, the legend of Santa Claus has stood the test of time. His story is a testament to the enduring power of folklore and the universal desire of joy, magic, and the touch of extraordinary in our everyday lives. And so we reach the end of another fascinating journey through history and folklore. Today we trace the transformation of a humble bishop named Nicholas into Santa Claus, the jolly symbol of Christmas known and loved around the world. From the ancient legends of lore to the modern myths of today, we're here to guide you through the captivating world of mythology and folklore. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to hit the like button and share this video with fellow lore enthusiasts. Your support helps us uncover more legends and bring these fascinating stories to you. If you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified about our future explorations. Thank you for joining us on this adventure. Please leave your thoughts in the comments. And until our next adventure, stay curious, stay inspired, and as always, happy storytelling.